By now you've definitely seen my videos talking about how I have been a baker for 10 years, and without a doubt it's something I'm extremely proud of, considering baking isn't something I was initially passionate about. I don't even think even to date I would use the word passion to describe what I do, but I've also mentioned that maybe I do not understand what a passion is because I have stuck to the same thing for 10 good years, and despite the ups and downs I have still pushed on. But today I'm not going to be talking about baking. I'm going to be talking about the lessons I've learned in my 10 years as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, because entrepreneurship, I am one of those people who definitely believe entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Lesson number one, I guess. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There has definitely been moments where you hear once in a while someone saying, just start a business, you're good. And I also, to date, despite just working on baking, I hear it often when someone learns I'm good at something. They'll be like, why don't you start a business around what you do? And here's my thing, I am a very firm believer that not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not just something you can decide, since ABCD isn't working out, let me start a business. In my opinion, it's not for everyone. Not everyone can just decide, let me start a biashara, a business today and be successful and do it consistently 10 years later. It's really hard. It's time consuming. It takes up every little piece of you as a human, your finances, especially if you're a sole proprietor, where you are your business. Everything relies on you. Like any mistake you make is on you. Like you handle too much. So I am a firm believer, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I am team, if you don't think you can soldier on, you can do this consistently, get an 8 to 5, a 9 to 5, whatever your country working hours are. Not everyone can really run a business, and it's okay. I don't get why people try to push entrepreneurship on everyone. As someone who grew up around entrepreneurship, I was also like money-minded since I was a small girl. Like, I remember in high school, even I think in primary school, when I was a weekly boarder, when we'd get snacks like to carry to school, I always sold my snacks because I'm not a sweet tooth. So I'd buy like biscuits, milk, the things I personally wouldn't crave a lot of, I'd buy them for selling. So entrepreneurship has always been in me, and I'm a firm believer it's not for everyone. So I would never tell anyone who's struggling, like, why don't you start a business? It's just not for everyone. Some of us can start hundreds of businesses and be successful. Others can just start one and fail. So firm believer, it's not for everyone. My next lesson that I've learned from being an entrepreneur for 10 years is basically tied to it's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship is hard. It takes quite the toll on you as a human being, your personality, because you become your business. So it's extremely hard. It's not every day it's rainbows and butterflies. When you're running a business, you realize that there is so many storms, so many, like, the path. It's not a straight path. It's not even a zigzag or a curved path. It's an extremely rocky path full of potholes. full of potholes, full of like storms, like trenches, valleys, all those things. Like one day you're going up and up, and then another day everything comes crashing down, then you pick yourself up and do it again. Like there's good days and bad days, and that's why I was saying it's not for everyone. If you know you're faint-hearted, entrepreneurship is really, like, it can destroy your soul. And hence my point, it's really not for everyone. It drains you, especially because you're the one who's, if it's your business, you definitely treat it like your baby, because at the end, you're trying to ensure this little thing I've started, I want it to grow into a big thing. If you know for a fact, that's why I'm saying I'm so shocked and impressed by myself to have done it consistently for 10 years, because I'm a person who, I give up easily. That's not even a lie. I easily give up on things that are not working. I'm part of the group, those people who I'll try my best, I'll put all my effort, but once I realize, yeah, this is definitely not for me, I am very likely to be like, it's no longer worth it to keep like trying and then giving up. I'm completely comfortable doing that, but this is something, and I think I said it, in my shop series or in the 10 years of baking. Having done this for the past 10 years, have truly, like when I look back, I can see how resilient, how much, like who I am as a person. I don't think if this business I've done for 10 years, if someone else had opened it for me, I would have definitely given up. My next point, and I think this is something to date I struggle with. Entrepreneurship is expensive. Like 1 minute, and especially now with the inflation that's affecting everyone globally, like entrepreneurship is so expensive. Let's say I've built like 4 people, 5k, $50, 5,000 bob. So the 4 people send me 20, yeah, that would be 20k, $200 approximately. So I received the 20,000 bob, but my first thing once I receive money is restocking. If the client has ordered for a cake, they need A, B, C, D. Once I receive the money, the first thing I always do is pay my suppliers. I need this, I need that. Get all that done. Next thing, for me, I have an assistant who I pay at the end of the month. Like, set aside money for that. Other bills that I usually pay, set aside money for that. So you'll find from the 20k, like just restocking, maybe I've spent 10,000, and then put aside money for all the other expenses I need. And then maybe from all that, I'm paying myself like 2,000 shillings from a whole weekend. Maybe that's like 500 bob from each cake. I can be paid so much money and then never have money. But the thing is, entrepreneurship takes up all your money, because before you pay yourself, you have to have paid everything else. Your suppliers have to be happy, your clients have to be happy, your employees have to be happy. You're the last person on that list when it comes to your own payments, your own happiness. So the expenses are way too high for someone who has no like a spendthrift, because it's expensive. Yes, every once in a while your profits are so good, especially if you've properly calculated your profit margin. I'm not saying every business is a loss, but the expenses are way too high for everyone to just think I can do this, because you'll find you have even a profit markup of 1,000%, but then this person is selling things and still not making profit. And I really tried to explain that to someone. They're saying someone buying things from Alibaba and then selling them at like 400% profit, but then I'm telling her, do you know how much this person pays for rent? Do you know how much they pay for shipping, employees, social media, marketing? All those little costs that you're not seeing behind the scenes add up to why this person has maybe a 400% profit margin. Maybe the amount this person is paying themselves is so little, like the actual now profit they put in their pocket is so negligible for you to be thinking they're making bank, I should do this as well. But you know what, as I said, it's not for everyone. Some people can only learn once they get into the water in the deep end and realize I am not a swimmer, I am not an entrepreneur. So it's expensive, and brings me back to my first point, it's not for everyone. My next point in regards to entrepreneurship, lessons I've learned, and this is something my mom told me when I started out. You have to learn every aspect of your business. For me as a baker, I have to know everything related to cakes. I have to know how to bake, I have to know how to decorate, I have to know how to make icing, like different types of icing. I have to learn flowers, fondant work. You have to learn them. Like you have to know each and every aspect of cake making. If I was to start selling dresses, I need to understand there's different materials. Like, not like there's jeans that don't stretch, there's jeans that stretch, there's jeans that can be like washed this way. I know nothing. Like, there's different materials, different sizing. I have to understand UK sizing is different from US sizing, is different from Southeast Asia sizing. You have to learn all those concepts, because if someone like me who hates shopping comes and asks you, would it fit me a size 6? What would your answer be? If I ask you what material is it, because maybe I'm looking for something I can wear, because some clothes look light, like silk. It's light but it's warmer. So these are questions you need to be able to answer when someone asks you on the spot. Like, you can't, when your client is asking for information, and then that's when you're trying to find ABCD. But also with the point 4, you have to learn every aspect of your business. I am also pro, you have to learn everything, but you don't have to do everything. Because say, like, if I had a clothing brand where I'm making clothes, I can be the one who sketches the dresses, but I'm not the one who tailor makes them, because that's not where my extra skill is. And that's something I used to say when I started baking. I wish people were comfortable with working as a team, because personally myself, I hate baking, but you know what I like? Decorating. And that's number one thing I usually look for when I'm hiring someone. I usually ask them, would you be interested in learning how to bake? Because if they take up the baking part, I don't have to do it myself, I'm happy. So, like, for me personally, I will not make flowers. I will teach people how to bake flowers, but even while I'm teaching them, I'll explain, this and this person sells flowers. So if in the event you feel like I don't want to be doing flowers, at least you have someone who can be making them for you to use them for your cakes. That's what I personally do. Like, things I know I don't want to work on or focus on exactly, I will delegate them to someone else. But at the same time, if I just need one flower and then the cake shops don't have the color I need, I will just have to sit down and make. So that's the same thing I always try to tell people. You have to know each and everything about your business. I know how to make fondant, but in the event I need just a little bit of fondant, I'd rather buy. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy instead of making, but same thing, I'd rather buy flowers instead of making. But if I just need one small flower, I'd rather make the flower instead of purchasing it. Like, it's just a continuous, you have to know each aspect. Even if you're not the one who will be in charge of doing those items, you still have to learn how to do it. If I had a taxi business like my uncle, if one of my employees isn't able to come pick up a client, I need to know how to drive, go pick up the client. Because if your employee doesn't come to work today, something happens, they're unwell, is a business going to stall that day because you don't know how to do it? That's the mentality I need everyone to have. My next point about a lesson I have learned from entrepreneurship is you are literally always working. Like, yes, granted, at night you're sleeping, but you wake up working. Like, you're planning out your day, you're literally always working. And this is mainly because you have to think of your business every single time, every waking hour of the day. Like, you have to be constantly in the moment, present, thinking about your job. Today is November the 11th, and I have weddings on December 3rd and December 9th. And as I'm talking now, I'm still thinking about, maybe I should text my cousin. He picked up some stands for me. I should text him to see if I can get them from him. I also have like content I need to share out on my business page, so that like when I come back to taking orders, like my page isn't dead. Like, you're always constantly working. Even when you hire out people to help you out, you still have to constantly think about your business. I've just remembered that real TikTok for I'm always working. My next lesson that I've learned as an entrepreneur is you literally have to keep reinvesting in yourself and in your business. Reason being, things change, especially if you're in a business like ours, like a baking business. You have to keep like learning. There's always new skills, there's always new designs. You have to keep reinvesting in yourself. You need new molds. I know we make the joke for, I bought this in this year thinking I'll use it, but I didn't. Stencils. I don't even think stencils are as a big thing as they were last year. Now guys are moved to texture and buttercream. You need new tools, so you've bought new items. You need, I don't know what the trend will be next year. You need new things for that. Like in the process, you can't just buy the tools and not learn the skill. So you're here buying stencils, but you don't know how to use them. Please don't get me wrong, I get plenty questions when I'm working on like a buttercream cake. I'm stenciling and then someone asks me, can I do that with whipped cream? And here's the thing, you can tell this is someone who looks for easy way out instead of going for class. If you've consistently worked with whipped cream, you know there's definitely very limited things you can do with whipped cream. So when you see someone stenciling and pressing on a cake it's really hard to stencil on whipped cream and have like a perfect finishing. So I'm not saying it's wrong or you shouldn't do it, but you can clearly tell someone who's just, instead of putting in the effort to invest in their business, they're just looking for an easy way to go around. Because if you see something that you really like, take the time. You don't have to spend the money to go to another baker to learn the skill. Take the time, check online, YouTube. We live in the era we live in, the time we're in, all the information is readily available. Take up a class, research online. You have to keep reinvesting your time, your skill, your knowledge to gain more, to be able to be successful in your business. You can't just sit there and wait for a miracle to happen, because sometimes, especially when I'm busy or when I'm not in the mental space to be online, I will forget to check. And I am very pro helping people out. I feel like my skill won't end if I help out other people who are in need of help. And sometimes I do forget to check my comments, my DMs, to answer a question someone asked. And other times some people will call me and be like, hey, I asked you a question and you're taking too long to respond. They have an order the next day, but it's not my fault. You're the one who should have taken time before accepting orders to learn the new skill that you need to be able to work on your client's work. So with entrepreneurship, you really, really, really need to reinvest in your business every single time for it to be successful, because trends change, things change. You can definitely decide, I just want to do cupcakes for the rest of my life. But at the same time, if you remember how cupcakes looked in 2015, 2016, most of us just added chocolates or fruits. Nowadays, it's different designs on each cupcake, sprinkles. I barely even see most people using fruits on their cupcakes. So trends change all the time, and you have to keeping up with the trends, learning about what's new, what's in, what's out. And the good thing with investing in yourself, once you acquire a skill, even if it's no longer in use at the moment, it stays with you. You can, riding a bike, once you learn how to do it, the skill won't disappear when you stop riding a bike after years. So same thing, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your business. In the end, it's going to work out much, much better than just waiting for a miracle to happen. My next lesson that I've learned about entrepreneurship is it can be lonely. What have I written? It can be lonely and it can be very overwhelming, in the sense of, especially if you are surrounded by people who know nothing about entrepreneurship, you realize how lonely running a business can be. And this is why I am look for people who are around you. They don't have to be, like for me as a baker, you don't have to make friends with just bakers, because sometimes you need to vent, and you're venting to someone in a like fixed salary. They do not understand where you're coming from. If you hang out with people who do not understand the things that you personally go through, it becomes so hard to go talk to them, get advice, because they don't see it from the side of the fence you're in. They see, like, it's kind of like tunnel vision. If another entrepreneur comes and talks to me about how a client was being rude to them, I am very likely to understand it because I've experienced it. And that's why I'm saying it's extremely overwhelming and lonely, because sometimes you find that the circle you're in, the people around you, don't have the same shared experiences. So they aren't able to like understand it from your perspective, and it gets really hard. It gets really frustrating, and that's hence the loneliness. Plus, when you run your own business, you end up like missing out on so many activities, especially with friends and family, because especially for like a sole proprietorship, you have to finish up with clients before you can be able to do anything with friends or family. And in the end, it does take a toll on you, like as a person. So it can get lonely. So instead of keeping up with the loneliness, make friends, have acquaintances, people who you can like meet up. I have an entrepreneur friends like Lau, my friend Lau. Like we'll just meet up, talk our frustrations out, go for bowling, like just have fun as friends. But we have two separate businesses. I do baking. She has a furniture business. Two like different sides of the coin, but we understand both, like each frustration. So if I go to her and tell her, imagine this client told me ABCD, she like sometimes you're complaining, and yes, sometimes I was a bit on the wrong, but she'll advise me as a entrepreneur, and then I'll be able to reach back to my client and tell them, hey, ABCD, EFGH, IJKL. So that's all I'm saying. It can be lonely, so make friends who are also fellow entrepreneurs. Network with people who will be able to be there for you, because they also understand the things that you are going through at that point. My next lesson that I've learned, and I keep learning about entrepreneurship, is that success is not linear. It's not easy. Like, it can be easy. We see it all the time. Some people just start out and they got one good client and their business just shot up, but it's not linear. Like, you do get ups and downs. So many moments where you'll sell out. Some weeks are very good weeks, some weeks are very bad weeks. It's something people need to understand. When you're running a business, it's not every day will be a good day. You've gone to a shop every once in a while, and even the seller is like, I don't know what to just buy. We haven't sold anything the whole day. You're my first customer who's even like, yeah, sometimes it's guilt tripping you so that you can make a purchase. But sometimes it's true. There's really nothing they can do. Like, they've not had business, and then there's weeks you'll sell out. You'll be fully booked, out of stock, but then there's weeks you stay with nothing. No one's buying anything, no one's asking questions. So it's not, success isn't a straight line. It's like ups and downs, hills and valleys. So it just do be like that. My next point is running a business, and this might be a little weird. When you're running a business, jealousy is inevitable. But let me read as I wrote it. Jealousy is inevitable. There will be moments where you ask yourself, why not me? Even myself, I ask this question to myself all the time. How come ABC person, like, I'll see someone just start out their business and they've come, asked me some questions, and then sometimes people don't forget they asked you with their other account, and then when they start their business page, they forget and you can see it. And then they're completely like their business just shoots quite well. Like it's very successful. Sometimes I to date, like I'll see someone who's doing the same thing as me and they're winning, and I'll be like, why not me? So jealousy is inevitable. I don't believe in people who say, like, you're a liar if you say, I don't get jealous, I don't get envy, you're a liar, a liar, a liar. Everyone gets jealous. But here's the thing, as I wrote down, always remember that we are all on different paths and we all can't have it at the same time. It's okay to feel bad and it's okay to feel jealous, but do not let the jealousy consume you as a person. Write that down, rewind and write that down. And it's true. All of us get jealous. All of us see someone who's doing the same exact thing as me winning. And you will definitely have moments where you ask yourself, why not me? Why can't that be me? You'll see someone like buying a new car for their deliveries, doing ABCD, doing weddings every single week, and you'll ask yourself, I'm doing the same exact thing. Why not me? But here's the thing, my point for don't let the jealousy consume you. Feel bad. We're all human beings. We're allowed to feel bad. We're allowed to want what they're having. But at the same time, don't let that negativity consume you. Don't turn your negativity into hate. Let it fuel you into becoming a better person. Do not let the jealousy consume you. Do not become that person who sees a fellow baker, fellow business owner, like starting out and doing as great as you or better than you, and choose to be vile. Like, hopefully, and I say this a lot, I hope this person watches my videos. Here's a good example of jealousy that when the information was shared with me, I was like, why would you even say that? This person learned from me, and then when someone saw how good their work was, they asked for my number from them, and this person, honest to God, told the lady that I died. Imagine, why would you tell someone that someone died? Like, instead of just telling them, all you should have done is said, I don't have their number, but if I find it, I will send it to you. I can't remember their business name. Instead of saying they died, that's so wrong. Because this lady, even when she found out this information, when she was told that, she was in shock. But then when she came to learn, like find me, I think she said she found a post of mine on Instagram, and then she inquired. When she came to learn, as she was learning, like she realized some of the cakes she's eating taste exactly like this other person's, and then asked me if I knew them. And when I said yes, they're like, oh my God. So when they told me the story, my head was like, why would you even say that about me? What could I possibly have done for you to tell someone I died? You should have even lied and said, I'm not a good teacher, so don't learn from them. But anyways, forgiven but not forgotten. But that's an example of jealousy. And here's the thing, here is same exact person. When I taught them, I personally don't believe I was good I was good at decorating. But I remember my sister telling me, you need to pull up your socks, literally. If this is your student's work, and like if I was to compare, this is my work and this was my student's work, my sister was like, your student has better work than you. You can't be the teacher and your student has better work than you. And when my sister said that, I was like, I'd felt this, but I didn't think like I'd felt it. So when she said that to me, I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot. And like I could see how in her first 3 months of work, like she was selling out, like selling a lot. And I kept asking myself, why is that not me? Why is she selling more than me? But instead of me being the same as her and telling people mean things about her, I did what any normal human being should do. Work hard. Do better. Because I remember telling myself, I need to show people, as much as this is my student's work, this is mine, and this is how good my work is, and that's how I'm able to teach someone to do this. So I made sure from that day hence, everything I put out, like sell to my clients, is 100%. I want clients to come back saying your cakes taste just as good as they look outside. I don't want to just be the person who sells cakes that are pretty on the, like, taste good inside, but on the outside they're not as good. I don't want my client to try justify to their baby shower group, like, her cakes are really tasty. I know they're not as appealing, but they're really tasty. I want it to be, they're tasty and good looking, like they can sell themselves. So that's a very good example of jealousy. That person let the jealousy, I am going to call it jealousy, consume them, and that's why they opted to tell this person that I died instead of doing something. But technically, basically, that's the point I'm trying to put across. Instead of letting the jealousy consume you, take that jealousy, take that feeling of why not me, and figure out what can I do to be as great as this person. Like, you hear so many times of someone opening a beauty shop in like the same area as someone else, and then they wake up one day and the beauty shop is burnt to the ground. They've been robbed. Yours was robbed, but the other beauty store wasn't robbed. Like, I'm a firm believer in people get so jealous to the point where they want to destroy you, and bringing it back, instead of letting the jealousy consume you and make you a hateful person, a spiteful person, take that jealousy and use it for good. Like, build yourself, tell yourself, if Wangeshi can do this, I can do it as well. Why can't I be? I am equally capable of being just as great as Wangeshi. Instead of trying to take Wangeshi's business down, let me put in more effort. Let me do this. What's going to separate my business from Wangeshi's? Wangeshi does buttercream. Why can I not make my business just as equally similar to hers, but instead of offering, what do I use? White chocolate buttercream, I'm going to use Italian meringue buttercream. Like, make yours stand out instead of trying to bring someone else down to just make yourself feel better. Because now, here's my question to you. Do you feel better? When you see me on these videos after telling people I died, how do you feel? But anyway, si mimi utajibu Mungu. If we do happen to go to heaven, both of us, I hope we do. That's a very good question you'll have to answer for. But anyways, my lesson is jealousy is normal, but don't let that jealousy consume you. Use it like positively. Let it drive you into becoming the person you're destined to be. But you know what? Maybe you are destined to be an evil person. Who am I to stop you from your journey? My next lesson that I've learned in entrepreneurship: imposter syndrome is inevitable. And this is me as a person who's learned it. It's something I've truly like struggled with, still struggle with. I don't know if it's something I can like one day say I can't believe, because I've always had the imposter syndrome, even as a student, even when I was younger. I've always questioned myself. But imposter syndrome, especially in a creative business, when I say imposter syndrome is inevitable, I would put it in the, like, from my experience, even when you feel like you're very capable of doing something, sometimes you do get to question yourself, like, but am I really the person who should be doing A, B, C, D? But I see EFG does much better work than me, so why am I putting myself in the same category as her or him? So it's normal. I feel like it's so normal. And at the same time, it can, if you let it consume you, like I was letting it consume me, it will definitely, like, if you don't watch out, it will definitely destroy you. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to tell myself, if they can do it, I can do it too. Instead of, I'm not the person who should be doing this. I am trying to tell myself more and more, what's the worst that can happen? If people don't like your work, it's fine. Like, but yes, imposter syndrome is a reality. And I feel like it's a reality for so many people. entrepreneurs and even non-entrepreneurs. My next point for a lesson I've learned about entrepreneurship: separate the finances. Let me tell you, we joke around about how you'll take an order and by the time the client picks up the cake, you've already spent the money. You're technically giving them free cake. It's true. Every once in a while that will happen. It's a reality. It's a fact. But you know what? Separate the finances. There's nothing as bad as trying to tell your client, I had to downgrade. Well, it's never happened to me, but I see it sometimes. Some people are paid and then order comes, time to deliver, and then they aren't able to deliver to the standard that was ordered because they didn't have the money. And that's why you should separate the finances. As someone, even if I've said you're the last on that list, your client comes first. So if you've separated the finances, like say an order that's due in, like a wedding due on December 21st, things like eggs. There's no way I can purchase eggs or flowers for a cake for December 31st. So what do? Have an account where you keep those monies, that money for later orders aside, and that way, even if you spend all the rest of the money, things you definitely will need, there's a place where you can go get the money and pay for the items you need. Usikule pesa ya customer. My final point, and this is something I've told myself I'll start like working on, a lesson I have learned from entrepreneurship. Look at who celebrates you, who is there for you when you're winning. I think so many of us have the mentality for check on those who celebrate your losses or who are there for you when you're losing. But you know what I've come to learn? As a business owner, people have their own problems. People have, like, we're all going through something in this life. So instead of focusing on people who are celebrating your wins or your losses, focus on who's celebrating your win. And this is something I realized I should do more of. Instead of watching like, oh, Nani didn't congratulate me, ABCD didn't tell me good job. ABCD is always only asking about how like negative. Let me focus on the people who are always there when I'm winning. Small wins, big wins. Those are the people you need to focus on. All the rest don't matter. Because as I said, jealousy is inevitable. There's people who are just watching you with envy and giving you fake congratulations. So every once in a while they'll dip in and out of your life to tell you congratulations and then remind you of that one time you failed and bring back your impostor syndrome. So instead of looking at those who are not there for you when you're winning or who are celebrating your losses, look at those who are there for you when you're winning. I think those are the most important ones. Those people who are happy for you all the time. And that's why I say my biggest support system is my family. So yeah, those are the lessons. I don't know, are they 10 or 11 or 12 lessons I've come to learn as an entrepreneur. For the 10 years I've been an entrepreneur, those are the lessons I've come to learn. Those are the things that have stuck with me, and I just thought I should share with you. So let me know which of the lessons I have learned you have taken from them. So yes, I will see you in the next one as usual. Bye.